Eyes of the Arctic. Seriously? A man and a woman walked out of the bank hand in hand. This might be a normal thing for anyone, maybe even you, but not for her. The man made a typical throwaway remark about their lunch plans. Under any circumstance, this would just be interpreted as a feeble attempt to incite lightheartedness into the conversation. But not for her. With a quick, agile movement, the woman, his wife, picked up a slab of concrete by the sidewalk, and with great aim, hit two birds perched on a low-hanging branch. They fell like two pathetic white balloons, and as soon as they hit the ground, his wife beat them into a pulp. She could still see that they were still breathing. And her husband knew that he had fucked up again. Some passerby began to stare openly at the horrible sight of the two bashed birds.
"Linda!"
the man yelled.
"Stop it!"
"I thought we were going to kill two birds with one stone," she replied in a voice of unnatural calm. Her face gazed up at him from the ground, stoic and rigid, like some dread mask. She had a certain, mental illness is a bit of a euphemism. Let's just say she had a disability, a serious and rare one. Linda could not understand the difference between jokes and imperatives. She took every figure of speech she heard seriously, and was often compelled to make whatever it was into an actuality. Her husband recalled at one point when she nearly pushed him out a window, when, in light of a recent resignation of his business partner, he remarked that he was in fact flying solo. Linda wasn't always dangerous, though. Sometimes he'd go home only to find her giggling like a little girl at the sight of milk on the floor. Or maybe even staring at windows during rainy evenings to see whether any cats and/or dogs were to be falling from the sky. But then came the times when she would get harmful. Only last month, the pediatrician living in the apartment next to theirs got pelted with apples and other fruits. The poor woman nearly tripped down the stairs. The other time, an event which still scared him up until now, she shoved in his hands a bit of her bloody scalp, saying it was a piece of her mind. She had to wear a bonnet whenever she had to go out of the house after that. In spite of this strange and violent behavior, he still loved his wife very much, and could not bear to send her away to a mental hospital. His mistake. He became very careful around what she would see and hear coming from anybody since the episode with the birds. Much to his joy, a year and a half passed without much incident, and their firstborn child was soon to come. It was good, since the coming of a baby took their minds off whatever financial problems they had. He was away when it happened. After he heard that the child was born, he rushed back home. As soon as he stepped through the door, he knew something was wrong. His wife was calling him from the kitchen, her arms around the son he could never know. In the light of their kitchen, laying on the table, were the remains of the baby. Their baby. Its mouth was stretched open to such a degree that it was split open. The underside of its jaws seen. It reminded him of a tear in cloth. The seams not made of fabric, but of flesh. But little blood the baby had to spare was everywhere. In response to his child's grotesquely expanded mouth, his father's jaw fell open in surprise, horror, disgust, and threatened to do the same. A scream tried to come out, but it did not. Forcibly thrust into the gaping hole that was the baby's mouth was his wife's forearm. She seemed to be trying to claw something out of the... As soon as his wife spotted him, she turned in his direction. Bloody baby still stuck on her arm. "You have to help me! The doctor said he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth." Eyes of the Arctic.